10, 9, ignition sequence start, 6.
Hello, welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in the Rocket Fuel community. Right, today, 21st, we're going to get started here with some not sad news, in a sense, kind of sad news. Okay, so what has happened recently is that the ratio for RPL has come down a lot against ETH. So a whole lot of node operators who were cost 10%, now below 10%, and because of that, they won't be getting rewards. The inflation that would normally be going to those people, not be going to those people anymore. So who's the inflation going to? Well, the inflation will be going to everyone else who is taking at about 10%. So the APR or the checkpoint is a lot higher now than it has been for a while. So much that it's gone above 9.0, like 9% basically, is what the projection is for rewards in the next round. So this has kind of started off discussion of people who are going to add more to their stake, basically, so they can get outsized returns, basically, compared to the reward over a few months ago. First of all, the ratio was higher. Second of all, there were some people have started unstaking basically Rocket Pool, and that is like a consequence of that. So if people are now like starting to say that like the other side, right? So the first person we got to share their new stake was Chaos, and Chaos stake over just over 1,000, I think around 1,500. Here it is. So Chaos says, I've been holding some PL on the sidelines in case I want to sell after a pump, but with it down this much, I guess I'll stake it. Since by the time it's back up, RPIP 30 will be for the I can just unstake it above 15%. So then Patches was like, that's not quite how it works, and you might have to look a little bit more closely. But anyway, regardless, Chaos said, no, he's happy to stake it because it's okay. So then he staked 1,550 RPL, and that was pretty cool. So then in response to Chaos, I was like, hey, I'll stake some too. And then Bossy was like, you're up, whack. So then I a little while later, like gas was a bit high, but then Schifrin said that he said here like we need a stake party, and he said that he'll basically make a swap if people stake. So that is that's kind of here is what Schifrin saying, if stakes, I'll make a stake party PWAP, which of course the Rocket Pool community is wild about those PWAPs. So I started messing around with my gas instead of cheap and waiting for low gas. I was like, I'll just put it through now. So I paid the gas, and then so I sent RPL to my wallet, and I got it staking. So I then became the second person in the party to get the RPL staked. So Chaos first, and then I was second, and then Schifrin like started right here. So I said it's staked, and I said pull up please, because of course I put my priorities right. And I said do it for the 9% rewards. So then Schifrin made this group. It's the RPL Stake Party 2024 POAP. So it says stake as a symbol. The ratio has fallen below 0.0095. If you don't believe in the protocol anymore, then why are you still here? If you do believe, then it's time to dust off that ledger and get staking. Tell your grandkids you bought RPL below 0.0095 during the RPL Stake Party of 2024. Post a transaction of your node, staking more than more than 1 RPL to receive a POAP. I will accept DMs and redacted details for anti-doxing security. And then so I staked, and Chaos of course staked, and then he said the deadline is Sunday, February 25th. So you've got until the end of the weekend, because by then the gas will be lower. And he says if any of you want, then you can claim by then, and you can get your stake on. And then he shared a screenshot of me sharing my stake, and also of Chaos sharing as well. And that was for motivation. And then people started saying like Valdoff says the things we do for a POAP. and then he put it through 16 Gwei, and then Vaka said I'll do it for the POAP, And then Sneaky says, I hate the idea but love POAPs, so I'm going to do it as well. So it's really cool that people are getting involved in this. So you have until Sunday. If you stake any RPL node before then get in touch with Sneaky. Either come by thread that I've just linked in the description below, or just message Shifrin, and then he will get a POAP to you if you prove that you set up some stake node. Okay, that was just like a nice little like fun-ish thing going on there. But now we're going to talk about some serious stuff. So here, Kurt asked the question that people trading are asking about 50 or 100 times a day, which is, why is RPL losing so much ground to ETH lately? What would it take to turn this trend around? So, of course, those of you who watch Rocket Fuel know that I'm extremely bullish on the next year coming for Rocket Pool. First we have Houston, which will make Rocket Pool the most decentralized by far staking service there is. And then we'll also be integrating some features there that will make it easier for institutions or node operators even to stake their RPL. We'll have stake ETH on behalf of uh, front end, like we have the stake RPL on behalf of right now. We'll also have separate withdrawal address ETH RPL and a whole bunch of other little tweaks like that. And one of the reasons for that is because those changes will make it easier for NodeSet to launch, and NodeSet will be coming out a couple of months after Houston, and then after NodeSet launches, they'll be accepting stake from people separately, so you can deposit ETH with NodeSet or you can deposit your ETH with NodeSet, and then they will send those to validate on behalf, getting subsidized rewards, basically exciting. And then what will happen after that is we'll have Saturn 1 and Saturn 2, and that's when we're going to start introducing like the token changes now. So this will allow, mega pools with sublinear lateral requirements for ETH. That means like, your first validator will be an LEB4, your second validator will be an LEB4, then your third validator as little as LEB.5. So those are the things that are really exciting going forwards, and they're going to make it super profitable Rocket Pool operator. Of course, you won't just ETH. You could just come with just the ETH if you wanted, but if you brought RPL as well, you'll get outside. So there'll be some interesting market dynamics at play here as well with this, and that's going to be really exciting. Anyway, Kurt's question started this like hours long discussion. That was actually really, really great, where we had people talking about first of all, he was kind of getting ideas about like why did the sentiment change, and people saying we got a little bit too hyped Atlas, and then because the price is down bad since Atlas, because we Rocket Pool was one of the only tokens at the time that was hitting all-time highs in the middle of a bear market. Like ETH was way off its all-time highs. Almost every other token was way off its highs, and Rocket Pool and a couple of others were kind of just going gangbusters. And sadly, it got overextended, right? And because of that, there was the people who got in that time obviously are down bad, and then people being down bad is a great recipe for negative sentiment, and negative sentiment kind of breeds more negative sentiment. So people kind of answering Kurt's questions here. This seems like a more sustained trend than normal volatility. Why are people going cold on RPL and choosing platforms or what? And then Waldorf kind of got involved here. He says, I think we just ran too hot on Atlas. No new narrative since then too, of course. So that's part of the key of it, that, in the last year we haven't really had drives, and the Denkun update really doesn't have much for staking in there to really, capture a wider attention about staking. But of course, going forward, that's going to be changing, just like I mentioned in the segment. So Kurt then says, I'm just trying to figure out what the rumors on the streets are other platforms becoming more popular, and people then, but Dougie here says, markets honestly be unfair to RPL. It actually has some use and the protocol is good. It just got too much hype for a minute, and there hasn't been mooning since then, I guess. Dougie means, he says, or maybe this is fair and it's just another project getting pumped for no reason. Like, I don't know, it seems pretty decent. So maybe a little bit sarcastic there as well. And then Kurt says, fair or not, I don't want to be caught on the losing side of all of this. He says, I'm actually still ahead of PL, but just barely. He's been around since before launch. or maybe in the summer of 2020 when we hit the cycle low. He says, I'm seeing on some fat gains. I watched them all evaporate. Now I'm wondering how long you want. So the discussion, like not long after this, like kind of changed direction. Kurt was just like the list that got it started. And he alluded, said, there's too much hype around Atlas was not the cause, but it certainly made it worse with exhausted node operators who are willing to trade their ETH and the tokenomics had jacked up. One speculator left and there were no more buyers. It's just slow down. We need to move up the requirement to open it up. The single greatest barrier to rocket. This is kind of like, in line with Jasper's vote that we saw yesterday. That 66% of people who answered, who didn't just want to see the results. Between 60 and 70% of people saying that the RPL token is the biggest hindrance for them taking with the rocket pool. Well, the good thing is, I said it's a good job we're working on exactly that in stages. First with node set in a few months, and then more complete level with revamped token set 2. And he said, like, what are we working on? And like the tokenomics redesign, and here Val was answering about the competition. He says there's no serious competition yet. Eigenlayer has been grabbing some attention and capital, but farmers be farmers. So there's this idea. Now I don't know how much of it is real and how much of it is scope, but there's this idea that a lot of the protocols that are getting market share in the last few days, some of these don't even have working products offer right now. Don't have a working product. They're getting market share because people are farming their airdrops, farming the Eigenlayer airdrop. The idea is that's what I mean. It might be legitimate, it might be corp, but the idea is that these people are mercenary liquidity, mercenary capital, and once they get the airdrops, they're going to take their tokens and leave to the next place. That's yield or point or whatever else that protocols are nowadays. With the idea being that of course rocket pool node operators are like here for the long term, and that they're more aligned with the protocol instead of just airdrop farming. And then Val also said, about the fundamental reason why what's happening. He says, I don't believe so. He says, I know that right now we're still dominated by speculation, and we will be until we're relatively mature. And by mature, Val means, if we ever reach like the 22% staking level, and that the dynamics will shift. And then Bossy said, I want to know, is there high confidence that we can get to 0.02, like which 100% increase on the ratio from where we are now in the next 12 to 18 months? He said, that's my happy place, or is 0.02 or higher realistic? So that's what the discussion actually then started to get. Here, Newman shared Seamus's image of like what the reward might look like in his cohesive plan, and how they'll be taught. And ETH holders will get some rewards, and stakers will get some rewards, and RPL stakers will get some rewards, and RPL and ETH stakers will get the most rewards. And that was just his idea. And then Val shared Sankey diagram of his rewards idea, and like what that's going to look like. Let's actually take a look at it. So basically, there's ETH from the node operator coming in, ETH from the protocol coming in, and then there's other ETH essentially from like the node operator here, and ETH from the protocol as well. And then these get all pushed to like different places, and some of it goes to RPL stakers, some of it goes to our ETH holders, and some of it goes to like a bunch of other places. So if you want, I'm just waiting for Val to finish his thing, because it's still got like these to-do sections that you can't quite see on your screen right now, but like his new update cohesive is not finished yet. So once it is, I'll cover Rocket Fuel. But until then, he's kind of sharing some information about that, and then the discussion kind of like kept going. And I said, in all honesty, when I talk to people about the new tokenomics, before they even partially understand it, their first reaction is, then why do you need RPL? It's kind of annoying. We need to do a lot of educating on the matter. I wouldn't be surprised if someone, some of these people are selling basically because they think that if RPL is not going to be needed anymore for staking, then you don't need it. You can just sell it and just be an ETH staker. So there's no point in holding RPL. Of course, that is because they have a very, very, very superficial understanding of what tokenomics will be like. They don't understand the different value capture methods and ETH rewards going to RPL stakers that could happen. So there's a lot of education that needs to happen from people like me, Jasper, a whole bunch of other community members, and not just to other Rocket users, but eventually we're going to start branching out, like talking to Ethereans on Reddit, on Twitter, the places on Forecast, etc., and like really let them know about how great these new tokenomics are. The problem, of course, is that we don't have a cohesive tokenomic plan yet that the community has agreed on, so we can't really make infographics. We can't put together pitch decks or whatever it is that we will be doing to explain to people just how great new tokenomics will be and kind of show them what the flows will be like. And then Lisa, I totally agree. It's a battle for sure. I hope when people see that you can make more money running an RP ETH only, a rocket pool ETH only mini pool and solo staking, that brings in some ETH. We've already brought the RPL. I've already bought the RPL. I'm just going to keep trying to a little more based on new tokenomic ID. And then here, Newman was having some points as well. But the reason why I'm talking about this is there was a lot of negativity around in trading for the last few days. But this conversation was one of those things where people were just sharing really good ideas and kind of explaining ideas to each other. And Ludi here, had a bunch of questions and misunderstandings about what new tokenomics will be like. And he was, told by Val and others about what it's going to look like. And he was saying, ETH only option may have some effects. Many existing node operators would prefer this. Expect a percent shift if made available. Extra RPL yield might not be enough to entice. He says that's fine. Then there'll be more folks that go all ETH. Then the people who do have RPL will get more money. So this is what Ludi wasn't understanding, is that there'll be separate pot that will go to people who stake RPL, and the more people who do ETH only, then the bigger that pot will be for the fewer RPL holders, who will get more money, which will bring on more RPL holders, which will then it's going to be a dynamic balance, and it's going to be really interesting to see how all that works out. I would love for there to be a few whales come online with tens of thousands of ETH and become node operators with Rocket Pool and not be RPL stakers, right? Just ETH only stakers, because so much of their rewards then will be going to RPL holders. It's amazing. We'd all get a huge boost in ETH terms and in RPL terms, which would be fantastic. So yeah, this is this was just a really good conversation, a really good discussion. Like I said, it lasted a few hours and there are quite a few threads kind of happening at the same time because of course it's trading. So enter there at your own peril. But overall it's really, really good stuff. So yeah, this is Ludia then says, with ETH only option, I imagine most new node operators won't be RPL buyers. How else do you sustain the ratio without RPL buyers when we have constant sell pressure? And then Val says, if you're saying there's a ton of ETH only pools, then that means a lot of revenue to RPL stakers. The more ETH only pools, the better it is for RPL stakers. So that makes people want RPL because it receives ETH. So this is actually a really interesting point. And about 50% of RPL is staked right now. And probably by the time, we get all these tokenomics online and everything, we'll have 70, potentially 70% of RPL was staked, through NodeSet and then the people getting in line for tokenomics. But then what I'm saying is if we, really attract a whole lot of ETH only validators and, the protocol grows by, 2 or 3x, up to 10% of market share, 15% of market share, 5x, then those ETH only validators will be driving so much money to the RPL stakers who exist now, or will potentially come online soon, that the rewards are just going to be phenomenal for the RPL holders. This is a much more sustainable form of yield for RPL token holders. It's just going to be a really exciting. I can't literally contain my excitement about it, which is kind of stupid, but yeah, it's just the way I am. I'm so hyped about this. I know that it's a year away, which is the sad part potentially, but hopefully we'll get it sooner. But I'm so ready for this. So I think with Val's messages back and forth, Ludi then kind of started, and he says it's hard to know how many ETH only mini pool or how many ETH only validators come online with a 7% commission. But what he doesn't realize is a 7% commission on actually I won't spoil it, I won't get ahead. Val says that a 5% in mine, also better rewards than right now. So just having just yeah, like he says right now, ETH is at 1.42 times solo, and then with 5% in Val's, we approach 2 times solo. So I think Ludi here was really starting to understand just how, how nicely gamed these tokenomics are going to be. And one of the reasons for that is because of those 1.5 LEB 1.5s. There'll be so much commission coming in from like the 30 ETH stake, right, from the rETH holders, compared to 1.5 ETH of node operator ETH, that is going to really juice us. And like I've been saying for a few weeks now, like the few months now even, the real question will be like if we can drive the rETH demand. That is the big unknown in this. Like everything else, we're going to do from our side is to make it as possible. But then the rETH side is going to be the one that's. So non-fungible Yoakum responded to this. Right? It says 7% commission on how much ETH, say with 2 times 4 ETH LEB4s, and then 2 times 1.5 ETH micro LEBs. That's 7% commission on 117 ETH supplied by rETH stakers on 11 ETH worth of bond. So the rewards is going to be phenomenal, right? Like this is how it works. So then like this is how like Ludi like really started to understand it and like really got. He says so. Then he says so. The real question is, what if any of the new tokenomics can be implemented before Saturn? So he's convinced now, right? He's like, can we get it before Saturn? But sadly, he says because if we're waiting on Saturn, then. But the biggest problem is that we don't have forced visits. So we really need forced to get all of these in place. There might be some of them that we can get in place with forced visits, like universal variable commission and things like that. But to get the whole package, we really need forced visits. Sadly, we don't. So yeah, if you want to follow that discussion, go ahead and follow it. It was very interesting, and the questions back and forth really help you understand what the new tokenomics. Okay, next I'm gonna actually I'm gonna say that I did this first, right? So yesterday at like 10:56 p.m. Eastern time, I put a post in trading about something that I noticed about the recent Rocket Fuel episodes. So I said I'm going to leave you all with something bullish for Rocket Pool, and this was as the previous conversation kind of ending as well, just ended. I said there's a crypto analyst metric that some use to find out how much interest there is in the project related to YouTube views and social media engagement. I said something I've noticed in the last few days is that Rocket Pool is getting more popular and more eyes are coming on the show. The interest in Rocket Pool is there. And then I said, here's some metrics. So Valdov was joking, saying, bro out here tooting his own horn. And I said that the impressions for Rocket Fuel in the last 28 days are up 35% to 40,000 impressions. And that's just on YouTube. And then I said that the unique viewers is up 60% in the last 28 days, 900 unique viewers. So this was, I said, these are metrics that some people actually look at. I said, here's Ben Cowan of Into the Cryptoverse, who's one of YouTube's biggest crypto analysts, I guess, whatever you want to call it, influencers. This is here Ben Cowan talking about it. So here, like talking about Bitcoin, social media stats, etc. I said, what I'm trying to say is that interest in Rocket Pool is growing again. If we as a community can put the best foot forward and talk about the upcoming changes, we have the potential to catch a lot more attention and interest. And just says, congrats to the new viewers. I hope both of them are here to stay. And I said, please stay, my 2 new viewers. But the point I was making, right, was that as the interest is going up in Rocket Pool, not just the Rocket Pool, in crypto as a whole, then some of that interest that like, you can see is already coming onto Rocket Pool as well, and that's just through Rocket Fuel and the new interest that's coming into Rocket Fuel. Now, what's really interesting is like I posted this last night, and on today's Daily Quay episode, the lead story from Anthony Sassano happened to be about how he's noticing viewers of the Daily Quay going up as well. His percentages haven't been as sharp as mine. 56. I have a much smaller channel. It's easier to go up 60% than it is for Anthony Sassano's channel to go up 60%. But he's noticed 10-20% increase in his viewing and listening figures as well. And that's kind of what I'm seeing, like, but a more amplified version of that. So we really need to help people see and understand that Rocket Pool is something really great. There's a lot of exciting stuff happening. This isn't a project in the death spiral or dead project or whatever else people are saying. There's a lot of good stuff coming, and we've all got to be on the vanguard of that, they're really being best foot forward and sharing good information with people far and wide. Yeah. Okay, talking about sharing information far and wide, today we had Langers, who of course you know is the general manager of Rocket Pool, he was on a call with Nimbus, who are a consensus client, and this was their post from yesterday saying, join us tomorrow for Node Ops with Nimbus. So they're saying building a community that secures the future of Ethereum, and Langus was on there for about an hour and talking to them about Rocket Pool and Ethereum staking. And I didn't actually listen to the call yet, so I can't give you too much of a summary of what was talked about. But from what I've heard, people said that it was a nice chat. I'm going to go and give that a listen. Then the link will be. Okay, next we have a launch of a new Bankless Academy lesson. So a new lesson has launched, and the lesson is staking on Ethereum, and this is powered by Rocket Pool. They say discover how to become a guardian of Ethereum, secure the network, and earn Ether rewards. Level up and claim your new on-chain badge. And this is then a link to the lesson that I showed you all when it was in beta form last week, and kind of had a look through it. So if you're interested in that, go and have a look and see what else is on the Bankless Academy, because I think they've got some good stuff up there. And this, of course, is part of the Bankless DAO, not part of Bankless HQ, which is the podcast by Ryan and David. This is like the loose community that has built up around that podcast. Okay, next we're going to be talking about ETH Denver liftoff. So here we have Ken with a post saying the front and back of some business cards we can hand out at the booth, or friends we meet at ETH Denver at the booth, waiting in line, etc., inviting them to the liftoff. Do you have any thoughts or comments? So here there's the front of the business card says, do you want to learn how to run a validating Ethereum node and earn ETH? And that's March 2nd, bring your laptop. Register to attend a hands-on new node operator workshop with Rocket Pool. There's a QR code to the token proof website. In the back of there is the second day, kind of the conference day, and it says Denver liftoff. Come to the learning forum to explore Rocket Pool, the leading decentralized liquid staking protocol, Ethereum. And that is running from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And of course, I will be there speaking as well. I'll be the MC of the event, or one of the MCs of the event, and welcoming the guests on the stage or to call remotely. So that's going to be really exciting. So, the hype for ETH and liftoff is getting real now. And then Sleety says, looks good, Ken. Is looking forward to seeing Rocket Pool again next week. This time Arrow has a booth, which is really exciting because Arrow last time just had like an informal meeting, but this time they have a booth. Let me see if there's a promotional video here. What's going on? Yeah, Arrow is now building electric vertical liftoff vehicles, flying cars, and then they're going to be like talking about their different vehicles they have. So that's really cool. And Ken says that means a lot coming from you. I'll have to get my Arrow swag. And I'm definitely going to be getting my Arrow swag because Arrow's awesome. So yeah, this is really exciting. And I can't believe it's going to be here so soon now. We're going to be flying. I'm going to be flying next month. This time next week, I'll actually be in Denver. So that's really cool. I still need to figure out how I'm going to be bringing you all episodes from Denver. I won't be recording Rocket Fuel, but what I might be doing is putting together like some daily highlight videos and like some recordings and stuff, and trying to get those out to all. I think that's exciting. Okay, next we have this tweet from Flat Money, but I need to make clear that this isn't just about Flat Money, but just Flat Money are kind of promoting this. So they're saying the rETH yield for base BLPs on Aura Finance continues to climb since our last update. It's now at 15.65%, current VAPR, as projected VAPR at 18.6%. So it says rETH liquidity providers on base play an important role in Flat Money's launch in March. So Flat Money is just bringing attention here to the fact that rETH pools, this is the rETH Rapid ETH pool, the rETH pool, the figures, for there are actually going up. Normally, when you get pools with boosted yields, people kind of dip into them and they jump into those positions, kind of dilutes the yields, so the numbers come down quickly, and you kind of have to hop from protocol to protocol to get the best yields. Whereas here, the Aura gauges here are printing money basically, like 18% potential rewards from Aura and Balancer. Yeah, Balancer is just amazing. Like, so thanks for Flat Money for kind of bringing that to our attention. If you are interested in that, then please do your own research. DeFi protocols are risky. You can lose what you put in, all of that good stuff. And I've not used this pool, so I can't vouch for the safety of it. This is not an endorsement, of course. Okay, next we've got some client update news. So here we have one from Lighthouse. Lighthouse said this is a mandatory release for all mainnet and Gnosis users. This enables the Dencun upgrade on Ethereum, which will be happening on March 13th. So if you are not updated to the version, which is 5.0.0, then you will fork the chain, and it says you'll need to be resynced. For stakers, this could result in missed rewards and penalties. So please, 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 if you are using Lighthouse, update your client beforehand. And of course, I'm saying that now, but what will happen is, Fornax will release a new version of the smart node stack at some point, probably in 2 days, but definitely before the hard fork, and that will have all the latest versions of all the clients. So whatever client you are running on your machine, you'll have the updated versions for those running. Everything will be going smoothly for you. And again, here we have another one from gETH, and this is gETH 1.13.3, and this is a minor release. I think they've already had their major one, but again, we're going to be getting lots of minor releases in the next weeks as we get closer and closer to the hard fork day. I'm sure that we're going to see a whole bunch of smart versions to kind of get the latest version, especially if there's no high priority fixes that come down. Okay, next we have here some technical analysis, and this is especially for Harris, as I know that he loves technical analysis. But I think the sentiment has been quite low. So for those of you who like technical analysis, Moon has some insights, and Moon, of course, is the resident Rocket Pool community shaman. So first of all, he talked about ETH. He says 33,333, which is the high that yesterday. He says ETH is on fire, but remember, what goes up must come down at least a little bit. Right now, I'm not ready to claim that the orange wave 3 is complete, as there's still clearly upside momentum, although the chunky red candle may be an indication otherwise. This was the price kind of retracing a little bit last night, down to about 2,900. And he says, but it will come eventually, and when it does, it'll correct down to about 2,650 to 2,800 range, depending on where the final top is. So the higher that it goes in the next couple of days, and the higher it'll potentially trace, but that will come basically. So if you're waiting for an entry, Moon thinks that you'll get one between 2,600 at some point soon. He says this could continue to extend well into the 3,200s if it hasn't already reached critical resistance. So he's seeing that there's upside here, in the next few days and weeks. He still move up a little bit more. He says look at it, look for it losing the white diagonal. So there's a line here that he's kind of on the chart, which is acted as local resistance to move up on the 4-hour chart. And he says that if we lose this diagonal line, and that's currently around 2,900, so I think we're at that line basically right now. He says then that will give you a warning sign to see if it's going to go lower or not, and what that might look like. So he says right now in that range, will cause we're headed down into the yellow box. So for those of you who are watching on the screen, you can see there's a yellow box pretty much like in the next week, and he thinks the price will eventually go into that yellow box basically. And he says, of course, once it's confirmed, that you guys know the key levels in the yellow box so you can trade them at UC. The next, he wants to talk about Rocket Pool, which is the RPL token, which is what I want to cover for you all. He says, let's address some of the doom and gloom surrounding RPL fam. He said, disclaimer, I'm not talking fundamentals here, just good old fashioned shamanism. And of course, by that he means drawing lines of charts, technical analysis, no fundamental analysis at all. So he's not like Newtonomics or anything like that. This is just lines on the chart. He says, I've zoomed out for you so that you can see the entire life of the token. Do yourself a favor and zoom out on BTC and ETH, and you'll see the same structures. Not surprising because they've all completed super cycle wave once. He says RPL is just not as far along as ETH is. That's okay. I want you to focus on two things. First is the 88% fib retracement of the yellow ABC waves down is at this, and he says this number is at 0.0076 ratio. So right now we're at 0.0095. So he thinks there's a potential for some more downside. He says, like we've been tracking for a long time, as long as we reverse by that level, then we can be confident in the renewed upside push rather than another year or more of bottom feeding. He says the duration since the all-time high, it's been a year, folks, a year of continuous downside. There's still more in store. There can't be much more if we hold 0.0076. Still mentioned a few others today that based on price action, we're easily a year or more away from a crack all-time high. but that's okay because active numbers will come long before then. This is you guys. You guys do you on RPL. It's reasonable to be afraid, fretful, and all the other shitty emotions that come with crypto volatility. But there's nothing here that says over. If I thought the thing said that, I would exit my validators and move on. But it doesn't say that. Let's wait to see how the new protocol features do. We're likely to see that act on some form of catalyst. But even if it's not a big deal, then we should still go back up as long as we're above 0.0076. He said, hang in there, fam. And then he went back and kind of like showed the wave cycles on the way up and kind of like where we are on the way down. And he thinks we're on like a down C, which is like ABC. It goes A, B, C, D, E up, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up, and then ABC down. So he says, we're on this C leg down now. And if we make it down, this is C down, then that ends at 0.0076. And then from there, we should start a new 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move forwards potentially, according to these lines of the chart. And then he was talking about ETH BTC, and I replied by saying the fact that RPL ETH can all-time high in a year, and that the fact that it's even on the cards is incredibly bullish for me. So that just tells you that depending on your perspective, there are things to be positive about. Whether you're looking at it from a fundamental analysis, which is what I do and which is what I like to look at, and I'm so hyped about fundamentals, or whether you're more of like a crypto astrology pro and you like technical analysis, then there's stuff in there as well that you could find some hope in. So I wanted to finish the episode on that note, because these last few days in the markets have been all over the place and there's a lot of negativity around, but there's a lot of reasons to not be negative. There's a lot of reasons to be very positive about people. So on that note, I'm going to end the episode. Thank you all for listening, watching, being part of Rocket Fuel community. And thank you for my 2 new viewers, as Patches says. If you are new to Rocket Fuel, please let me know what I can do to make the show better, what kind of stuff you want to see covering. You can message on YouTube, you can come into the Rocket Fuel Discord thread under trading and share ideas there. I'm always willing to listen to feedback and to try to make Rocket Fuel as good a experience for all of us, for you guys to learn from and to get information. So thank you all, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.